The slashing of isolation times is being labelled a sensible decision. COVID cases and household contacts only have to isolate for 7 days from midnight Friday. Household contacts will need to do rapid antigen tests on day 3 and day 7. Auckland University public health expert Colin Tukietonga says it strikes the right balance to get people back to work and protect health.
From an epidemiological point of view, most infections will have occurred within 7 days, and in fact the majority around 3 or 4 days.
Tompkins Wake Insolvency specialist Wayne Hofer says the move will release some pressure for those who have no staff to spare.
All through the country you've got restaurants and bars and things that only open 2 or 3 days a week because of lack of staff, even before the Omicron isolation requirements came in.
Hundreds of Defence Force personnel involved in MIQ will soon return to their units. The government has announced 28 of the current 32 facilities will leave the managed isolation and quarantine network and return to being hotels by the end of June. Ridges in downtown Auckland will be the first on April 30. COVID-19 Response Minister Chris Hipkins says hundreds of nurses and police who staffed the isolation hotels have already gone back to frontline duties. The Foreign Minister says New Zealand's new sanction bill is not an attack on every Russian person. The legislation, which will allow the government to economically target people, entities and assets connected to the Ukraine invasion, was passed unanimously in Parliament last night. Nanaya Mahuta says there are members of the Russian community who are distressed about what they're observing.
This is not intended to attack or target every person of Russian ancestry.
Kainga orders no evictions policy for misbehaving tenants as being blamed for an explosion in unpaid rent. When Labor came to power in 2017, the nation's state housing tenants owed nearly $750,000, but it's ballooned since then. News Talk ZB's Joey Dwyer has more.
Figures obtained by NZME under the Official Information Act show unpaid rent in state houses soared to nearly $9 million last year. About 12% of Kainga Ora households are currently behind on their rent. The agency blames clients' worsening financial predicaments during COVID, with many experiencing significant life events such as loss of employment.
A week on from the Parliament protest, Wellington City Council staff have worked hard to get the area back to normal. The 23-day occupation came to an end when police moved protesters off Parliament in nearby streets. Roads have been swept and roads have been power washed. On Lambton Quay, screws embedded into the road surface to secure tents have been taken out. The wreck of Sir Ernest Shackleton's ship Endurance has been found off the coast of Antarctica. The ship hadn't been seen since it was crushed by ice and sank in the Weddell Sea in 1915. The Falklands Maritime Heritage Trust says Endurance was found at a depth of more than 3,000 metres. It was about 7 kilometres south of the position recorded by the ship's captain, New Zealander Frank Worsley. Last month, the Endurance 22 expedition set off from Cape Town, South Africa on a mission to locate Endurance.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald. Click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.